right, so we'll get started. Coming to a comfortable seat, so I'm in a kneel, Virasana, great place to be if that works for you. Also a cross-legged seat, Sukhasana, also an amazing option. So just whatever your body is feeling right now, whatever place that can really root you into the present moment and come into this place of shift. So whatever you were doing outside of practice prior to making it here, allow yourself to settle in, allow the adjustments to slow down. And just feeling the palms gently resting on tops of your thighs. And as you do that, feeling a softness create through the elbows. The shoulders gently draw away from the ears. Really long length through the spine, feeling the crown of the head reaching closer and closer to the sky overhead. We just start to watch the natural flow and rhythm of our breathing. So we start to acknowledge the wave of the rise of the inhalation as it flows all the way up to the collarbone, expanding through the front of the chest, the sides of the ribs. And then we also start to watch the exhale and the flow of the breath out, the release, the softening. We'll take a full breath in and a full breath out, open mouth, let it go. So each time we arrive to the mat, we have this space to create intention, create what I like to call a true north. So something that we can direct our focus towards, something that we can use as an anchor so that if we feel that in the practice we get distracted by thoughts, distracted by external stimuli, we come back to this breath, we come back to this intention. So starting to feel that intention really settle into the body, moving in and out through the breath. We'll take another full deep inhale in. And again, exhale, open mouth, let it go. And again, that reminder that we're showing up to the mat each and every time as a practice, and really just simply that. This is practice. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just a way we're exploring this practice at this moment on this day. So allowing yourself to shift into that space of fluidity, that space of openness, that space of receptivity for all the present moment will begin to offer us through our work together. We'll take a full deep breath in and a full deep breath out. Wonderful. Now starting to lift the gaze if the eyes are closed. We're going to come into all fours, a tabletop. So starting to bring the hands to the earth, the knees, the shins, the tops of the feet. And we want to find this alignment that the shoulders are directly over the wrists and the hips are directly over the knees. We're going to start to move through some gentle cat-cow. So inhale, moving through cow, begin to open through the heart, the chest. And then exhale, starting to pull the navel in, find a round through the spine. Again, inhale, the inhalation breathes the heart through and forward. And then exhale, pulling the navel in, finding that round. One more like this, inhale, waking up the spine. And exhale, contract, pulling in. Now we're going to start again to get fluid in the body. So this could be anything that feels supportive as you move. So just breaking out of the traditional shape, if it means circles through the spine, if it means shifting weight forward and back. We're just starting to feel into the places of sensation a little more consciously. And then let's start to get in a little bit of a flow here. So as I'm doing, so inhale, reach the heart forward, and then exhale, child's pose, tent the fingers. Draw the heart through, inhale. Exhale, pull the navel in, child's pose, tent the fingers. One more like this, inhale. Exhale, pull the navel in, tent the fingers. Good, this time we're gonna tuck the balls of the toes, lift the hips high, arrive into your first downward facing dog. So as you come into your first downward facing dog, just starting to pedal out through the feet, getting into the backs of the hamstrings, the backs of the calves. And then just starting to find a moment of stillness, so evenly grounded through both hands, evenly grounded through both feet. Let's begin to move through a wave-like motion as we come into plank. So rolling through the spine, inhale, coming into plank. And then exhale, hips high, back to downward dog. Rolling through the spine, inhale, crown of the head reaching forward. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. One more like this, rolling through the spine, crown of the head forward. And exhale, hips high. Begin to peel up to the balls of the toes, bend the knees, look forward, slow walk to the front of your mat, release, Uttanasana, forward hang. Now find a pretty deep bend in the knees to start. Then we're just gonna grab for opposite elbows, find a little bit of a sway. Notice how sensation feels different as we move from side to side. Wonderful. Now starting to relax through the hands. Bend the knees deeply once again. We're gonna slowly roll all the way up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Tadasana, feeling the palms gently resting by the sides of the hips for a moment. And then on your next inhale, sweeping the arms out, palms press. As you exhale, that right hand's gonna glide down the outer right leg, and then it's a little side body stretch. The inhale lifts you back up through center, gather palms, gaze high. And then exhale, left hand down, outer left leg. One more each side. Inhale, long through the side body. And exhale again, side body stretch right. One more to the left, inhale. Exhale, side body to the left. Now starting to gather the palms up overhead, and then exhale, we're just bringing the arms by the sides of the hips, Tadasana. Begin to interlace your fingers behind you, roll the shoulders back and down, bend the knees, gaze up, inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Right into halfway lift, hands to the shins, the earth, the tops of the thighs. And exhale, fold, release. Let's get into a flow here. Arms reach out, palms press. On the same inhale, interlace the fingers. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, firm belly, flat back. And exhale, bow to the earth. Let's try that again. Reaching the arms out, inhale. Suspend the inhale, interlace the fingers. Exhale, bend the knees, release, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, bow to the earth. One more in this flow. Inhale, reaching out. Interlace the fingers. Exhale, bend the knees, release. Halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, fold. Begin to plant the palms, step the feet back into downward facing dog. Take a moment to pause. And now we're gonna slowly begin to bring the knees down to the earth. We're gonna bring the forearms down to the earth, modified plank. So begin to extend the legs long behind you. So the weight is on the balls of the toes, heels are reaching back. Let's just do a couple of shrugs forward and back so that we're starting to wake up those abdominals. And then we're very slowly gonna begin to lower the front of the hips down, arriving into Sphinx pose. So releasing the tops of the feet, pressing into the forearms to open up the shoulders. Now we're gonna again move through a wave-like motion here. So inhale, staying in Sphinx. On the exhale, you're gonna start to pull the navel in. Weight is pressing into the knees and we're rounding up. So the front of the hips are physically coming off of your back. The inhale drops the front of the hips. We're back into Sphinx. And then exhale again, pull the navel in, round. Again, like this, inhale, lowering the tops of the hips. And exhale, pulling the navel in, find a round. Slowly coming back into your Sphinx, take a moment, take a pause. And then we're gonna lower the chest, hands are gonna come underneath the shoulders, pressing back into puppy. So puppy is when the knees are right underneath the hips, and we have a little longer length through the spine. So the front of the chest can physically come down to the mat if that's available to you. Maybe a little shrug of the hips from side to side. Wonderful. Now let's begin to tuck the toes, lift the hips high, right back to downward facing dog. Peeling up to the balls of the toes, bend the knees, look forward. Walk or float to the front of your mat, release. Taking a halfway lift, firm belly, flat back. And exhale, bowing forward. Now let's start to take the feet as wide as your mat. And we're gonna start to point the toes out. The heels are coming in, so the palms are pressing, and we're using the leverage of the outer arms to press the inner thighs open. Good. A little bit of a shrugging here if that feels natural, if that feels good to settle you in. And then let's just take a full breath here. Inhale. And exhale, open mouth. Now starting to take the hands down, we're just gonna slightly hike the hips up, and then you're gonna extend the left leg long behind you. So we're in this variation of lizard. So let's do that shrugging again, forward and back, just getting a little deeper to the front of the psoas. And if you wanna create some circles in the hips, maybe flowing it around, clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever feels most natural. Now beginning to lower the back knee, inhale. And then as you exhale, we're gonna start to slowly straighten the front leg, walk the hands back. It's a baby Hanuman, half split variation. So again, walk the hands forward, bend in the front knee, and then exhale, straighten through the front leg. So only go to the place where you feel, inhale. Exhale that you're meeting up against your edge, but not pushing past it, good. Now let's start to re-bend in the front knee, tuck back balls of toes, engage the back leg straight, plank pose, pause, hold. Let's press away from the mat, inhale. Exhale, lowering down, first vinyasa, chaturanga. Pressing through and up, mini cobra, upward facing dog if your body's ready for it. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Peeling up to the balls of the toes, bend the knees, look forward. Walk or float to the front of your mat, release, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold, release. Again, feet to the outermost edges of your mat, heels in, toes out, coming into Malasana. And again, maybe that sway from side to side, getting a little deeper into the hips. Now starting to take the hands forward, slight hike of the hips, extend the right leg back, shifting forward and back. And so just noticing every side's a little different. So if this side feels like it's a little tighter, just listening and responding where you may need to hold off, or maybe even push a little deeper. And again, a little bit of a circular motion through the hips, exploring that for a moment on the left side. Now let's start to gently lower the back knee. Inhale, we're in our lizard. And then exhale, start to straighten in the front leg. Try to still keep a lengthened spine, good. And then inhale, re-bend. And exhale, straightening the left leg. One more, inhale. Hopefully this feels good at the front of the hips. Exhale, coming back. And then we're gonna re-bend that front knee, ground it evenly through both hands. Tuck back ball of toe right into plank pose, inhale. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Pressing through and up, mini cobra or upward facing dog. Open the chest, exhale, hips high. Downward facing dog. Let's start to bring the heels to touch, the toes to touch. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale. And exhale, open mouth. Starting to extend the right leg back. So first going for a bit of length here rather than height. Squaring off through the hips. And then inhale, lengthening the right leg up. Exhale, bending the knee, opening up the hip. Re-squaring through the hips. Inhale. Exhale, knee into nose, hover, hold, plank. Inhale, finding length, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee comes to the outer right tricep, keeping the navel drawing in. Inhale again, finding length. Exhale, crossing right knee to the left tricep. Inhale. Exhale, this time we're gonna bring the foot through and between both hands, release back knee, top of foot. Start to reach the arms around and up, Anjaneyasana. Gather the palms, gazing up towards the hands, and then just start to interlace the fingers, and then we're making a little bit of a head rest with the hands. So we're pointing the elbows out. Try to still see if you can button the ribs in. Good, now start to evolve into a cactus shape in the arms, and as you do so, first drawing the navel in, drawing the right hip back a little bit, cactus arms. Next, inhale, gathering the arms up overhead. Exhale, both hands lower, feet step back. Vinyasa or simply down dog, your choice, your practice. Starting to be more cognizant of the breath, flowing you from one place to the next. Heels touch, toes touch. Left leg extends long behind you. Square hips, energetic back heel. Lengthening that left leg long and high. And then exhale, bending the knee, opening up the hip. Re-squaring through the hips, lengthen. Exhale, knee into nose, hover, hold. Finding the length, inhale. Contract, exhale, knee to left tricep. Keeping that flow of breath moving, inhale. Exhale, knee crossing over body, right tricep. Inhale. Exhale, foot comes through and between both hands, release the back knee, top of foot. Starting to sweep the arms out and around and up. Starting to gather the palms, gaze towards the fingers. Interlace the fingers, taking the hands behind the back of the head. So this is really starting to broaden through the front of the chest, open through the collarbone. Now start to refine a little bit. So pull the navel in, draw the left hip back, and then coming into the cactus with the arms. Good. Keeping that breath fluid. Inhale, gathering the palms, and exhale, both hands down. Feet step back, Vinyasa, flow it out. Good, meeting with hips high, downward facing dog. Let's take a cleansing breath here. Inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, release, let it go. On your next inhale, reaching the right leg up. Exhale, foot comes through and between both hands, ground the back heel down. We're opening Virabhadrasana 2. Now take a moment to pause here, feel the pose evenly as much as possible, grounded through the feet, externally opening through the hips. Now let's start to take both hands to the hips. We're now gonna point the left heel in. So we're in this, I'll face you for a moment, wide-legged stance. So we're just gonna shift from side to side, getting a little deeper into the hips, starting to wake up the quads, building what we call tapas, so it's that heat. As we talked about, water is like fire in a sense of it's very transformative, shares that similar quality. So let's start to pause. Inhale, gather the palms up overhead. And then exhale, we're gonna bring the right forearm to the top of the right thigh, stretching the left arm up overhead. Gathering the palms back together, inhale. Exhale, the left forearm comes down, right arm reaches up and over. Let's start to gather the palms. Exhale, hands come down. We're gonna inhale, open through the chest a little bit more. As you exhale, the left shoulder drops in. Inhale, reset, both shoulders square. Exhale, the right shoulder drops in. Good, now let's slowly begin to come back, straightening the legs. We're gonna position back into Warrior 2, taking one more breath, inhale. Exhale, start to windmill the hands down. Peel the back heel up, we're coming into a twist, reaching the right arm high. Taking another breath, inhale. Exhale, taking both hands down. Feet step back, Vinyasa. Downward dog. Next, inhale, starting to reach, lift the left leg long. Exhale, foot comes through in between both hands, root back heel, Virabhadrasana 2. Making sure that both hips are even. So if we feel the right hip popping up, drawing it back and down. Great, now let's do the same thing that we did. So we're gonna point the right heel in, right toes out. And now we're just gonna bring the forearms to the tops of the thighs. So getting even deeper, yeah. All right, very slowly, we're gonna start to lift the torso up. We're gonna point the toes in. So we're gonna come into standing split, hands to the hips, lift the heart, inhale. Exhale, hinging from the waist, so hips in one direction, crown of the head in the other. Let's go into a halfway lift, tent the fingers, lengthen spine, and exhale, fold. Now just taking a moment to breathe here, watching the breath. And then we'll come into a halfway lift, inhale, and exhale, fold again. Rebend in the knees very slowly, roll all the way up. Taking the hands to the hips to point the left toes forward again into Vira 2. Taking one more breath, inhale, and exhale, windmilling the hands down, pivot the back heel up, open into a twist. Taking one more breath, inhale, exhale, both hands down, feet step back, Vinyasa. Very good. Right, good. Now take a moment to pause in your downward facing dog. Next inhalation, reaching the right leg up. Exhale, foot comes through in between both hands. Root back heel, we're right back into Vira 2. Gonna bring the right forearm to the top of the right thigh, reaching the left arm up and over. So it's modified side angle. We're gonna come into reverse. So the left hand grazes down the back leg or wraps around the hip, reaching the right arm up. And then exhale, windmilling the hands down. We're gonna peel the back heel up for a moment, coming into that twist again. Inhale, and exhale, both hands down. Now start to ground the back heel, and then the arms are gonna come around and up. Virabhadrasana 1. So adjust as you need, trying to hip both hips square. Great. Now just as we did in low lunge, gather the palms, interlace the fingers, hands come behind the head. Feeling the elbows pointing out, broad, expansive heart. Lovely. Now evolve, coming into a cactus in the arms. And then we're gonna scoop the right arm underneath the left as we come into an outer arm stretch. Great. Now let's start to release, come back into the cactus. Now we'll go the reverse, scoop the left arm underneath the right, stretching that outer arm. Now as you're here, start to pivot the back heel up so we're in a crescent variation. We're gonna use that right hand to grab for your left wrist, inhale, and then exhale, side body stretch. Back up through center, inhale, gather palms, gaze high if comfortable. Exhale, both hands down, feet step back, Vinyasa. Doing great. Energetically, just noticing where we can pause for a moment, feel the breath. And then left leg lifts high, inhale. Exhale, foot comes through, ground back heel, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Bringing that left forearm to the top of the left thigh, reaching the right arm up and overhead. So we're pressing down and away in that left forearm, so we're not allowing the left shoulder to come towards the left ear. Now coming into reverse, reaching, inhale. And then exhale, let's windmill the hands down. Pivot the back heel into the twist. Taking a breath, inhale. Exhale, both hands down. Let's start to peel the back heel into the earth. And then arms sweep around and up, coming into Virabhadrasana 1 on your left side. Gaze looking up towards the hands, interlace the fingers, and then again, we're bringing the hands behind the head, elbows pointing out. Now start to evolve into that cactus shape in the arms. And then let's start to pivot the back heel up. Now starting to scoop the right arm underneath the left, coming into that outer arm stretch. Good. All right, arms sweep around, out and up, cactus. And then we're gonna scoop the left arm underneath, right. Good. I think we did the wrong one, so we're gonna come back into cactus. We're gonna sweep the right underneath the left. It's always a way to come back and figure it out. All right, now we're gonna take the right hand to the left wrist, inhale, arc through the arm, exhale, side body stretch. Gathering the arms up overhead, back up, inhale. Exhale, both hands down, feet step back, Vinyasa. Very nice work, everyone. Downward facing dog. Let's peel up to the balls of the toes. Bend the knees, look forward. If you're comfortable, let's try a hop into Malasana. Take the hips down. Now hands come in front of the heart just momentarily, and then we're gonna take the right hand out, left arm up, inhale. Exhale, come back to prayer. Take a little rinse with the breath, inhale and exhale. We're gonna take that left hand down, inhale, reach the right arm up. Good, and then exhale, both hands meet. And then the hands come forward, hike the hips, heel toe until the heels touch, toes touch. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Bending in the knees, arms reach around and forward, Utkatasana, chair pose. And we're gonna get a little playful with our balance. So inhale, start to peel the right toes up, lift the right knee, and then exhale, the right knee is gonna become behind the left, arms are gonna come by the hips. Inhale, core really engaged here, lifting the right knee. And exhale, coming into this curtsy variation. And then one more like this. Inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, both knees are kissing behind you. Now taking the hands to the outer left hip, just a micro twist for a moment. Good. Slowly come back through center, both hands in prayer. We're gonna take the hands down. Inhale, straighten the back leg long behind you. Exhale, both feet meet, release, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, fold, release. Preparing for the left side. Weight in the backs of the heels, reaching arms around and forward. Utkatasana, chair pose. Now still in the bend, start to peel up the left balls of the toes. We're on the right standing leg. Inhale, and then exhale, the left knee comes behind the right, arms by the hips. Inhale, lift the left knee up, and exhale, knee comes behind. Really using the breath, slow and fluid here. Inhale, and exhale. Now taking the hands to the outer part of the right hip this time, just a little bit of a twist. We don't need to look directly behind us, but the gaze is moving there as we feel the rotation from the navel. Hands come back to prayer. Taking the hands down, inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, both feet meet. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, step or float back. Vinyasa. So our vinyasas are always this great way to reset with the breath. Tune in, ground down. As we come back, downward facing dog. Let's just take a full deep breath in. Full deep breath out, open mouth. All right, beautiful yogis. Let's start to bring the knees down. We're gonna come back to the forearms again. You might be familiar with where we were, that modified plank. Start to extend the legs back long. And then this time we're just gonna come right away into your Sphinx. Taking a breath here, inhale. And exhale. This time, the chest is fully lowering. As we do, we're gonna start to take the fingers off of your mat and the elbows are pointing up. Squeezing the backs of the legs so the inner thighs in together. Inhale, the breath moves the chest up, the head up. And then exhale, slowly bow down. Inhale, the breath presses into the tips of the fingers to lift the chest and head. Good, exhale, slowly bow down. One more like this. Inhale, lift chest, lift head, maybe a little higher if you can. Good, exhale, release. All right, now this time we're just gonna lift the right shoulder. Gonna look over to the right side. And then exhale, we're gonna lift the left shoulder, look over to the left side. As we inhale, we're gonna lower the right shoulder. As we exhale, we're gonna lower the left shoulder. Inhale, lift the left shoulder, look over to the left. Exhale, lift the right shoulder, look over to the right. Inhale, lowering left shoulder. Exhale, lowering right. Hands come right underneath the shoulders, elbows squeezed in. Pressing back, let's come into that puppy again. So that place where the hips are directly over the knees, arms are out long. Maybe the chest makes contact with the earth. Just a couple of breaths here. Realigning through the spine. Now start to walk the hands back, slowly rolling all the way up into a kneel. And then we're just gonna shift that left hip over, bend the knees to come forward. So we're in this place getting ready for both. Yeah, so the hands underneath the knees. And then we're just gonna start to shift so that we're sitting on the sits bones and the legs lift up. Now we're just gonna practice here, arms reaching out. Inhale, start to just tap the right ball of the toe. And then slowly come up, exhale. Inhale, lower left ball, and exhale. Again to the right, inhale, and exhale. Again to the left, inhale, and exhale. Okay, I'm gonna face you guys, stay where you are. Now we're gonna take the legs out and then the palms are pressing. We're gonna play around with a little bit of rolling here. So we're just finding that place of balance as we rock back, rock up. Third one, let's come into Malasana. Whew. Sometimes it works, sometimes you gotta try it again. So no judgment, however you need to get there, good. Now let's start to take the hands down, choice, hopping back, walking back, flow this one out. All right, very good. Now, from here, we're gonna take an inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, the foot's gonna come a little shorter than we would for our warrior one, so just behind the right wrist. And then we're gonna point the right toes out to the right side. As you're doing that, grounding into the left palm, we're very slowly beginning to lower to that left hip. So the right arm is out. So I'll face you guys just so you can see for a moment what this kind of looks like. Yeah. Then inhale, start to press into the left hand, lift the hips up, and exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, pressing into the palm, making this nice arch and wave. Exhale, slowly lower. One more, inhale. We're gonna stay here, suspend, and then just start to take the hands forward, pivot the back heel, plank pose, vinyasa or hips high. We'll meet together, downward dog. Inhale, reaching the left leg up. Exhale, foot comes right behind the left wrist. Now start again to feel a little more pressure into the right hand. As you pivot those left toes to the left side, eventually the right hip drops. Inhale, lifting the hips up, arm reaches up and over. And exhale, slowly lower down. Really nice deep stretch to the side of the hip. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Last one, inhale, let's suspend it just for a little longer. Good, slowly start to come back around. Feet step back, flow it out. This time I'm just gonna come back, downward dog. Okay. Now start to bring the knees down to the earth, hips back to the heels. We're gonna wave our way up into a momentary kneel. Let's take a breath, inhale, and exhale, open mouth. Start to bring the left hand over to one hip. We're gonna sweep the legs around. I'm gonna adjust my mat here for a moment. We're gonna come to roll all the way down to your back. Yeah. So as we come down to our back, slowly feeling the navel drawing in. Eventually, feeling the back of the head connect, start to pull the feet in slightly so you can feel the fingers kind of touch the backs of the heels. Now on your next inhale, we're gonna feel the navel drawing in, low back connected with the earth, waving the arms up overhead into bridge pose. We'll take another breath here, inhale, and then exhale, slowly lowering the hips, arms come by the side of the hips. The in-breath waves the arms up overhead. We'll just do this in one count. And exhale, slowly lowering the hips down. One more like this, good. Inhale. And exhale. Now let's just keep the palms where they are. Press the hips high and just take a moment and bridge. It feels good to interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back and down, lift the hips a little higher. All right, slowly release the clasp, lower the hips. And then we're gonna heel turn the feet out to the outermost edges of the mat. Knees are gonna knock in, hands to the belly. I'm just starting to feel the breath slow down in the body. Okay, and then just starting to pull the knees in towards the chest, so giving yourself a nice big embrace of gratitude for all your hard work. And whatever you are grateful for today, just the first thing that pops into your head. Today I am grateful for, and whatever that is. Choice to keep massaging the low back, or you can come into happy baby if you'd like another hip opener before we close out and slow down. And just giving yourself this time to find the gentleness, find the place of stillness. If you need to let out a lion's breath, great, and then just slowly beginning to come out if you are in happy baby. And Savasana, so bringing the arms by the hips, the legs out long in front of you. And we just start to feel the full body surrender into the mat. So we've done all the effort, we've done all the work. Now it's again in that place to receive all the benefits of the practice. And returning back to your intention, allowing that intention to fully flow through the body, flow through the mind and your awareness of it here in the space with you, letting it flow through the heart. So intentions are usually from this place of heart-centeredness, what feels purposeful, meaningful, letting it flow in that area. And you're of course welcome to linger in your Savasana for as long as you'd like. But if you are ready to transition, a gentle awakening through the fingers, gentle awakening through the toes. Maybe a rocking from side to side in the head. And however best supports you in making your way back to a seat, rolling over to one side, pressing into the mat, or any other variation that you have in your practice. And then we'll seal all of our work together by bringing our hands together in front of our heart, this place of Anjali Mudra, so this place of a bowing to ourselves and honor to ourselves. And again, thanking ourselves for creating the space to be here, even if it's just for a short 30 minutes, this place to come back to the practice, which brings forward new insights, new learnings, but also reminds us of the inner wisdom that already lives within each and every one of us. And knowing that the work doesn't stop here on the mat, but how we can start to bring the results of the practice, the benefits of the practice back out into the world, into our soul work, into our personal journey, and into our relationships with others. And taking our hands together up to the third eye. So honoring our inner intuition and bowing forward into a namaste.